Mm, hello? Oh, hold on. There we go. Much better. Welcome to Ghoulishly Rad's Halloween Special 2024. I have to warn you, this special is going to be super scary and super cringy. Because, of course, we're talking about the Simpsons Halloween Special and why we come back to it every year. Despite it being November, like second week of November, as of filming this. I mean, come on, what's more Simpsons than doing a Halloween special in November? Like, seriously. But before all that, if you guys could like, subscribe, and even put down your favorite Treehouse of Horror segment, that would help out the channel a ton. And I want to see what everybody's favorite segment is. Because I'll say right now, my absolute favorite is the Raven from the very first episode. For a lot of reasons. And if you want to know why, or if you want me to do just a video on that, because I totally can, I got way too much to say about that specific one, then go ahead and tell me if you'd want a segment on that. So, The Simpsons. I was a kid in the early 90s, so The Simpsons was a staple around my house, especially during Halloween. I was there for the very first Treehouse of Horror. So when I saw Halloween Elements and Marge giving her warning to not watch this episode, I knew I was in for a good one. She introduced the first Halloween special. Absolutely hooked. How could I not? It's Halloween. It's spooky things. It's horror. It's The Simpsons. So the first episode, as I said before, was Marge warning the viewer that the special might be a bit scary for everybody, and that she didn't want angry letters in the morning. And I can't blame her, as someone who creates dark content sometimes, maybe a little bit on the lewd side, that I feel like it's up to the viewer to curate their own experience. And you have to remember, this is way back during the 90s, when writing angry letters actually got the show canceled, and it meant something. I'm actually happy that my folks threw caution at the wind during this time. And you have to remember, too, that I grew up watching horror movies at a young age. So The Simpsons doing this thing was like not anything new to me or new to my household. And really, The Simpsons were just tamed down versions of those horror media that they were parodying, which is another reason why I love it, of course. But I do watch the specials every year, and I do feel like they deserve a special spot in this channel, in my heart. So, what makes The Simpsons Halloween specials memorable? Well, every episode has a unique intro that gets us hyped up for the spooky tomfoolery that only The Simpsons can deliver every year, and thus will segue into our yearly ritual. Okay, usually it will be parodies of different movies and properties that have current pop culture in a chokehold. They parody the Twilight Zone a lot, and I feel like they do it actually the most, because the Twilight Zone also parodies other media as well. So it's kind of like you have this rabbit hole of different shows parodying themselves and each other. So it's kind of fun to take an afternoon and to kind of be like, okay, so Simpsons parodied Twilight Zone parodied this, they parodied that, and this is the origin of the thing that they parodied. But either way, each story ended with a punchline or twist at the end. The first and third segments are usually the best in my opinion, and I don't know why that is. And The Simpsons do, in one of the specials, kind of make fun of the fact that the middle is meh, it's okay, lukewarm. But the outros are also just as unique as the intros. And my favorite, to this day, from the list of Treehouse of Horror, was when Lisa finishes the Raven. Bart and Lisa are in agreement that the Raven really wasn't that scary, but instead maybe people were easier to scare back then. And Bart responds with, yeah, like Friday the 13th is tame by today's standard. Which, yeah, that's true. I think there's something to say about that. Like what people find terrifying way back in the 1600s, 1970s, 1980s versus now. I mean, now all of our horror is more upfront, especially during the Saw era. But either way, I watch every year, sometimes not even October. Like it was one of my first anthology series when I was a kid that I was introduced to. And I watch, actually, I think I watched the Simpsons Halloween specials in August because it kind of like gets me geared up and ready for a fall. I was also introduced to that before I was introduced to Tales from the Crypt, but it did solidify my love for anthology series. And of course, with that, we had Creep Show, and with that, I used to watch Monsters, and just like all those other properties, they're fun stories. I'm happy to go back to them when I want something lighthearted. Like, even in recent years, you can say that the specials have been not super fantastic, but I'm always going to watch them no matter how lukewarm they are, or maybe if they're actually good this year. I'm always going to go back and watch it. It's a thing that my household does every year, regardless if it is good or bad. So, what do you guys think? Please comment below. I can definitely go more in depth about each segment if that's something we want to do for like a monthly special. We could totally do that if you guys want to. But without further ado, this has been Ghoulish Rad. Well, have a happy and safe Thanksgiving.